All right, we had a quick overnight here in the Wallowa National Forest in Eastern Oregon, and then a long day of working. And so we're getting a late start in the afternoon here. There goes Steve. James is riding with him. We're gonna get on the road toward Boise and see where we end up from there. Making our way towards Salt Lake for the boys' flight. So that's our story right now. First day of the convoy. Pretty mountain range. What is that, 9,000 feet or so?
I think the tallest peak's almost 11. Could be wrong. You might be right. It might be only 90-something hundred.
So is Hood the tallest in Oregon?
I think so, yeah.
And it's 14 something, right?
13 something, I believe, yeah.
Making our way through Wallowa area here in Eastern Oregon. We're pretty close to Hell's Canyon. We're not actually going to get to visit that this trip because we're going to make our way to Salt Lake. But nice little river that the road's following along, and it's really pretty over here. I had not been to this section of Oregon before, and it's pretty nice. But twisty, windy here. We're in a gorge, so there you have it. Cool little town in the middle of nowhere, Oregon. That's the old Opera House. Looks like it's now the City Hall. This is the downtown strip. I'm guessing this town's been here a day or two.
Continue on South 8th Avenue.
It's Eglin Opera House, like Eglin Air Force Base. Eglin, Oregon. Maybe one day I'll have to look up the history. Home of the Huskies. We miss you. Sounds like they're ready to get back to school too. Old painted lady house. Oh, there's the co-op. Got vaccines, tack, shirts, feed. Kind of cool. Oh, and the rodeo grounds. Stay safe when you're riding your bucking bronco. Eglin Stampede. Shot of Steve's 4Runner. Sometime over the next few weeks we'll do a walk-around video. He's done a nice job of putting it together. It's real clean, but real functional and real capable. And I think you'll enjoy the walk-around because he did do a really nice job, and it really shows. All right, we didn't make it out of Oregon yesterday. We had kind of a slow start. We're getting some coffee going, but it actually turned out pretty nice because we had the opportunity to actually plug the trailer in and top the batteries back off to 100% because I hadn't been that diligent over the last couple weeks of putting the solar panel out. and getting sun. So it's nice to get caught back up before Steve and I head deep into the wilderness. Watch pot never boils. All right, hopefully we're leaving Oregon behind here and gonna get on the road and maybe end up somewhere around Craters of the Moon. So James and Steve are over there and we'll hit the road. All right, so we've crossed back into Idaho. We are headed up towards Stanley Lake, which I guess Steve's navigating today, but I think is up in the Sawtooths. So that's him and James up there in front of us. We're convoying that way. And I think we're gonna camp up in the Sawtooths tonight around Stanley Lake. And then tomorrow, I think the plan is Craters of the Moon and then getting close to Salt Lake City. So that's the update right now. Looks like I see some mountains off in the distance, so I'll update you as we go. Starting to get up into the foothills here in Idaho. This is, I think, around Black Canyon area is what I just saw. And we're starting to slowly climb. Not putting on any major elevation yet. But you can kind of start to see the landscape changing for sure. Definitely getting up into the mountains now here in Idaho. Climbing up. I guess these are the Sawtooths. Pretty sure. I mean, we're kind of, that's where we're headed tonight. So I guess you could call this the foothills of the Sawtooths. But getting into some pretty expansive canyons. Definitely starting to get a little bit more alpine. But it's a fairly arid alpine. At least on this side. Now we may cross over and get into a valley and it's real lush on the opposite side, but right here it's definitely alpine. All right, I think I figured it out. This is the Payette River. So we're driving along the Payette River. We just went by National Forest campground, stopped there for a minute to let Scout out, that actually has a hot spring in the campground on the Payette River. So that's a pretty special place if you're passing through this area. It looks like it's pretty booked up though. Some might be hard to get, but the Payette River looks like a really nice river. Super clear water, lots of good rapids, a good rafting river for sure. I did notice a sign here that said camping only in designated areas through the National Forest here. I don't know if that means that there's no primitive camping in the National Forest, but that's different if that's the case. But still pretty arid, subalpine, pretty dry. High fire danger here, I would bet. That look right there, if you can see it kind of off the right, is really the first look at the Sawtooth mountain range here in Idaho. We're going across a gigantic meadow right now, and I think we're about, call it 15-20 miles outside of Stanley, Idaho to the west, and starting to see the Sawtooths peek through, which is pretty cool. Alright, we just stopped at Mountain Village Mercantile here at the foot of the Sawtooth Mountains to resupply, and I think I may have the answer to my fishing problems on this trip. I got the Toy Story Pixar Woody Shakespeare reel, and we're gonna take it out and try to get some trout on it, and I think we might be successful. Yeah. Kind of an interesting little town. Stanley right here at the base of the mountains. I like it so far. Yep, I'm back here just admiring the mountains.
3.7 miles, then we take a left.
Roger that. Like if you look at the blade of a saw, I know, but the blade of a saw, a round blade of a saw, has all these teeth on it. And they called it, back in the day, they called it the Sawtooth Mountains.
Hey, nobody's at my secret spot.
We'll see. It's kind of dusty.
Yeah, but we'll be at the end of the road. Maybe like a turnaround.
Says he hopes there's nobody at his secret spot. We're climbing up out of Stanley Lake here. There's a Sawtooth right off the right window. Really climbing up and out of here to Steve's secret spot. And we're putting on some pretty serious elevation now. The road's not too bad. It's a little dusty right now, a little bumpy. It hadn't been technical at all. Trailer's just kind of rolling right along with us. But I think this is going to be a pretty spectacular campsite. I'm going to definitely have to mark some GPS waypoints on this. Got a little wildflower action there on the sides of the road, if you can see that. Some nice yellows and purples. And got a big opening coming up here. There's a good view of the Sawtooths. I saw the name of that peak just a second ago, and it's eluding my mind right now. Wow, and that's a big tree coming up right here. Almost straight out the windshield right now. Pretty big in diameter. Oh, I think this may be our campsite. There's a couple chairs up here. Oh, there's a tent. Bummer. All right, making get the focus to come in here. Making that Italian sausage and pasta again. I don't know if I can get it to focus. Well, that's actually not too bad out of focus. It's just, I guess, the light's kind of poor. Making the Italian sausage and pasta again, using the sausage we got in Missoula, which is really good. And I doubt it'll show up on video just because there's not enough light. But over here we've got Mars. Yeah, that shows up actually. And the Sawtooths are off in the distance. We just did some long exposure. I'll put those in, but they turned out pretty good. And cooking up dinner. It's late tonight. It's cold, but we're gonna call it a night here soon. So see you in a bit.